So here we are at NAB, and we're going to start talking about an enormously important subject, which is storage. And we have Nick from Symply with us, who's a fountain of knowledge. We're going to enjoy this.
RedShark's NAB coverage is brought to you by NewTek, G Technology, Blackmagic Design, and Adobe.
Hi Nick, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Well, look, storage is so important these days in media. Everything is file-based, and speed is everything.
Absolutely.
And so you're working with a newish product from a newish company called Symply.
Yep.
And it's a kind of, the product to me sounds like a kind of paradigm of what people should be looking for in storage, in that it seems to be designed to be robust and fast.
Yes.
Let's talk in general about storage first of all. What are the trends? What have been the trends for the last few years for small facilities or individuals who have to deal with a lot of media?
Yeah, well, it's a huge problem, and the problems that are seen by the very large post facilities are mirrored absolutely down to very small independents. Clients say that they're going to turn up with X amount of terabytes, and you can bet your bottom dollar that by the time they turn up to deliver to you your raw files, it's 2 or 3x what they said that they were delivering. So whether you're a tier 1 post facility or a small independent, you're effectively dealing with the same problem of too much media and too little time to deliver against deadlines, which is a problem across the industry.
So what have we got today that we might not have had 5 years ago? I mean, apart from the fact we've moved from standard definition to high definition to 4K, and 8K is on the horizon. Yeah,
so I mean, obviously those are the problems that everyone's familiar with is the problems of moving through SDHD 4K. It's a problem of data, and for the small independent companies, small medium post houses, they've been turning increasingly to NAS type devices to do that, so desktop NAS devices, because they don't have room for kind of large rack systems that typically run into hundreds of thousands of dollars for shared collaborative workflows. They just don't have the budget, so they're using small NAS systems, or they're using sort of sneakernet, for want of a better word. They're shuttling hard drives or solid state drives around a facility.
And just to clarify, NAS is essentially a network attached. It's a disk that is attached via an Ethernet cable.
Yeah, absolutely. They're typically desktop units in the environments we're talking about. They might have 10 gig Ethernet on them. They have their own sort of collaborative file system on them. Typically, they're not built for these kind of environments. They're built for IT, but they've become popular in media and entertainment market because they're low cost, easy to use, but they don't tend to deliver the performance.
And not built for these environments in the sense of...
Exactly, they're not really built for the kind of performance that people need. So people buy them in the belief that it's 10 gig, that's lots of data. We can connect to them and edit in place from the sort of shared file systems. And typically when I go to trade shows like NAB or IBC, I can guarantee I'm going to have a handful of people turn up and say they work well with them. The vast majority turn up and it starts, I bought a NAS XYZ and it sort of worked for me to start with, and now it doesn't. And they end up copying data to and from the NAS as a central store to local drives and copying it back. As I'm sure you know, you end up with duplicates, people duplicate workflow, mistakes are made, data's overwritten that shouldn't be, and you end up in a mess.
And it's not always clear, is it, at the outset, that the nature of media work is so different. For some kinds of work, it's the speed of transactions or the number of transactions. For media work, it's more to do with the size of the files.
Yes, absolutely.
A single file could be multiple gigabytes.
Yes.
So with Symply, what are the problems that it's set out to solve?
So our new product is Symply Workspace. So what we've done is we've taken a well-known file system, Quantum StoreNext. StoreNext system is
and again, a file system is
it's just a way that some data software that allows people to collaborate. So you can take a chunk of storage, You apply the file system over the top of it, and then either Mac, Windows or Linux clients can connect to them. They can all see the storage, but crucially they can all see the storage at a block level, so you're not dependent on TCP/IP packets or anything like that.
So I think we need some explanation
of
that last sentence. Yes.
So NAS systems work at a file level, so they're sending packets of data to and from, and it's kind of, to simplify it, IP or NAS was designed to work in office environments or over the internet, and you're sending packets and you send them over multiple routes, so that at some point the packets turn up and they get reassembled in the right order. The trouble with that
you can see the inefficiency in that from a mile
exactly.
off.
So it's great for a lot of applications, but for video applications it's not so great, because you want frame 1, 2, 3 and 4 to turn up at your computer in the right order.
In the right order, yeah.
So by using an industry-renowned software platform like StoreNext, we can build this collaborative workspace over Thunderbolt, and that's what's really unique that we're offering. So as opposed to having expensive 10 gig to Thunderbolt converters or 40 gig to Thunderbolt converters, you can just plug straight into your Mac.
It's all native Thunderbolt.
It's absolutely all native Thunderbolt. So Mac,
and Thunderbolt is essentially an extension of the computer's own bus.
Exactly. It's essentially based on PCIe.
Yeah.
So that's a completely native protocol. It's all at a block level, so it's the highest possible performance and easy to use as well.
When you say highest possible performance, does that mean low latency?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the inherent benefit of a file system like StoreNext and Thunderbolt, is they both add up to a very low latency environment for the customer. So instead of having to copy to a local drive, work, send it back, we can just edit in place HD or 4K. From the
and so I'm just trying to understand physically what kind of device the Symply system is.
So we have a 12-bay RAID that has 4 Thunderbolt ports on it, and that's our starting module, if you like. That's the Workspace 12. And you can upgrade that. We can add another unit to it, so you can have 24 drives and 8 Thunderbolt ports. So the advantage of the building block modules is that the client can start with a 12 bay, and as they grow, we can add in the additional RAID, grow the volume out, which is something that you can't do with a NAS. If you're buying like an 8 bay, 12 bay NAS, you can't then add another NAS and
so
sum
it will
the
scale out
performance.
to what sort of size?
So at the moment, the largest size that we have is 288 terabytes.
Yes.
But we can also grow slightly larger than that with expansion chassis. So there's no reason why you couldn't run into the hundreds of terabytes with the solution without any problem at all. So, but you could start as small as 24 terabytes.
Yeah.
So it's a great building block at $10,000 to start and grow with your facility.
Yeah. So what sort of message would you send to people with, individuals who are maybe editing or in post-production, or larger facilities? What message would you send to them to convince them they should move across to Symply?
Yeah, so it's really the ease of use. That's what our system's all about.
Yeah.
So it's the performance, it's the ease of use.
Does that include the ease of setting it up?
Yeah, no, the system is very easy to set up. It comes largely pre-configured, and we have an app that controls it to allow you just to simply run an installer, reboot your Mac, and you're online working with the storage. So it's very, very simple.
People wanted to buy a Symply system, where would they go? How do they do that?
Easiest thing would be to go to our website, which is gosymply.com, and they'll find all the information they need.
Go Symply
with a Y.
Okay, fantastic.
Great. Thank you very much,
Nick.
Dave.
Cheers, brilliant.